Most people wake up and drift through their mornings like shadows, reacting to emails, messages, and obligations before they even feel fully alive. But the truth is simple. Your morning sets the trajectory for your entire day. How you start defines your energy, focus, and emotional state. The 1% of people who rise intentionally don't just react, they command their day. Imagine waking with clarity, every thought aligned, every action deliberate. This isn't a fantasy. It's the reality for those who understand that mornings are not just hours, they are a tool. The body is rested, the mind is fresh, and your potential is unclaimed. How you choose to invest this window of clarity determines whether you drift or dominate. Science confirms it. Early hours are when the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, self-control, and focus, is most alert. Distractions are minimal. The mind is most malleable, ready to imprint habits that will compound over years. Those first 60 minutes can be more powerful than an entire day of reactionary effort. Historically, leaders, philosophers, and high achievers understood this instinctively. Marcus Aurelius reflected at sunrise. Benjamin Franklin planned his day before the world awoke. Their mornings were structured, deliberate, and sacred. They didn't waste this time. They cultivated it. You can do the same. Recognize the untapped power in your first waking hour. Your thoughts, actions, and rituals in these moments will ripple outward, shaping productivity, mood, and resilience. Master this, and the rest of the day follows with precision, energy, and control. The takeaway is clear: your morning is your strongest weapon. Wield it with intention, and you step into a day that bends toward your purpose rather than against it. The difference between average mornings and extraordinary ones is not luck, it's intention. The 1% of people who wake up with control don't stumble out of bed and react to the world. They rise deliberately, designing the first moments of their day with purpose. This is where ordinary lives diverge from remarkable ones. They start by taking ownership of their mental state. Before checking messages, news, or social media, they establish calm. They breathe, they meditate, they center their minds on what truly matters. This isn't about avoiding responsibility. It's about approaching it from a place of clarity rather than chaos. Your morning thoughts shape your decisions, your focus, and your reactions for the next 12 hours. Control these, and you control the day. Next comes physical activation. The 1% knows that a stagnant body breeds a stagnant mind. They move, sometimes with light exercise, stretching, or deliberate posture alignment. Even 10 minutes of motion wakes the nervous system, increases energy, and primes the body for focus. Physical vitality is inseparable from mental clarity. One supports the other. They also structure their environment. No notifications, no distractions, no digital noise. Their morning space is a sanctuary, silent, intentional, and conducive to growth. They journal, plan, and visualize outcomes. Each action compounds, creating momentum that carries into work, relationships, and personal mastery. Finally, they prioritize key actions. The 1% identifies the few critical tasks that will define their day and tackles them first. By conquering these early, they build confidence, focus, and control before the world imposes chaos. The lesson is clear: morning mastery is not about waking early. It's about waking with strategy. The difference lies in deliberate mental focus, purposeful movement, distraction-free environments, and intentional action. These are not habits you stumble into. They are crafted. When you adopt these practices, mornings cease to be a routine. They become a launching pad. Each day starts with energy, clarity, and control. You are no longer at the mercy of chance, distraction, or impulse. You are the architect of your day, and ultimately, your life. Before the world demands your attention, before emails, notifications, and obligations invade your mind, the 1% takes a moment to reset. The mental reset is the foundation of total control. It is the practice of starting the day with a clear, calm mind, free from the clutter of yesterday and the anxiety of tomorrow. Imagine waking up and immediately letting your thoughts run wild. Stress from work, tension from relationships, the endless list of tasks ahead. Most people live in this reactive state all day, pulled by impulses and distractions. The mental reset interrupts this cycle. It's a conscious act of reclaiming your mind before it is hijacked. This practice can take many forms. Meditation, even 5 minutes, allows you to observe your thoughts without attachment. Journaling clarifies priorities and releases mental noise. Simple breathing exercises ground your awareness in the present, training your mind to respond intentionally rather than react instinctively. Stoics understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius began each day reflecting on challenges he might face and rehearsing virtuous responses. This early mental alignment prepared him to act with courage, wisdom, and self-control, no matter what the day presented. The takeaway is simple. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own, and it must be sharpened before the world begins to blunt it. By resetting in the morning, you gain clarity, emotional stability, and focus. You train yourself to approach challenges with calm precision, rather than chaotic reaction. The mental reset transforms your mornings from passive routine into active mastery. When you own your mind first, everything else, the body, actions, decisions, follows naturally. Control your mind, and you control your day. The 1% doesn't leave their day to chance. They visualize it. Visualization is more than wishful thinking. It is the deliberate rehearsal of action, mindset, and outcome. By mentally walking through the day before it begins, you prepare yourself to respond with clarity, confidence, and discipline. Start by imagining the key moments you will face. Meetings, tasks, conversations, challenges, see them unfold in your mind. Anticipate obstacles and rehearse calm, intentional responses. Picture yourself maintaining composure when under pressure, making decisions rooted in strategy rather than emotion. This practice conditions your brain to act decisively when the real moments arrive. Next, focus on alignment. Visualize your actions supporting your values, your goals, and the version of yourself you are committed to becoming. The mind cannot easily distinguish between a vividly imagined scenario and reality. By practicing success, resilience, and focus mentally, you embed these qualities into your behavior before the day even begins. Finally, integrate emotions. Feel the calm, confidence, and energy that come from mastery. Let these sensations anchor your morning, carrying into every interaction and task. Visualization transforms mornings into a rehearsal for excellence, giving you a psychological edge that others spend the day chasing. The takeaway is clear: control is not just reaction, it is preparation. By visualizing your day, you step into it fully aware, composed, and aligned with purpose. Your actions become intentional, your decisions deliberate, and your morning becomes the blueprint for unstoppable progress. The body is not separate from the mind, it is its foundation. The 1% understands that a sharp mind requires a primed, energized body. Physical priming is the intentional activation of your energy, focus, and vitality to prepare you for the day ahead. Without it, even the clearest intentions can falter. Begin with movement. It doesn't need to be extreme. Simple stretching, push-ups, or a short walk can awaken your nervous system, boost circulation, and release endorphins. These natural chemicals elevate mood, sharpen focus, and create momentum. Your body responds instantly to motion, and this response cascades into mental clarity. Next, engage the senses intentionally. Cold water on your face, sunlight through your window, or even a brief moment of deep breathing invigorates the mind-body connection. The 1% doesn't allow grogginess or sluggishness to dictate their morning. They create conditions that demand alertness and presence. Nutrition also plays a role. A simple, nourishing breakfast or hydration routine fuels the body without overwhelming it. Energy is a resource to manage, not squander, and the morning sets the tone for efficiency, stamina, and discipline. Finally, posture and presence matter. Standing tall, breathing deeply, and holding your body with intention signals confidence and readiness to the mind. The Stoics practiced this implicitly. Strength and calm begin in the body before they manifest in action. Physical priming is more than exercise. It is a ritual of preparation. It signals to your brain that the day is beginning, that you are awake, alert, and capable. When body and mind are aligned, action flows naturally. Decisions become sharper, and resistance diminishes. The takeaway is simple: energize your body, and your mind will follow. Physical priming is the invisible edge of the 1%, creating a foundation of strength, focus, and resilience that propels you into the day with unstoppable momentum. The mornings of the 1% are not a collection of random actions. They are a chain of deliberate habits, stacked to build unstoppable momentum. Habit stacking is the practice of linking small, intentional actions together, so that each one amplifies the next, creating a rhythm of productivity and mastery before the world even stirs. Start with micro actions. Simple habits, drinking water, stretching, journaling, or reviewing priorities, are easy to execute but compound powerfully when repeated consistently. Each action signals progress, instills discipline, and reinforces the mindset of someone in control. Next, sequence intentionally. Place habits in an order that builds energy and focus. For example, movement first wakes the body, breathing exercises sharpen attention, journaling clarifies the mind, and visualization aligns purpose. Each step primes you for the next, creating a natural flow of action that propels you forward. Stacking habits also reduces decision fatigue. The fewer choices you must make in the morning, the less willpower you expend and the more mental energy remains for critical tasks later. The 1% eliminates randomness, ensuring the first hours are spent on actions that compound their effectiveness, clarity and resilience. Finally, track and reinforce. Journaling successes, noting small wins, and reflecting on consistency strengthens the habit loop. Momentum grows with each repetition, turning deliberate practice into effortless mastery. The takeaway is clear: by stacking habits, you transform mornings into a powerhouse of discipline, focus, and progress. Each action becomes a building block. Each block strengthens the next, and by the time the world awakens, you are already moving with precision, energy, and unstoppable momentum. The 1% understand that success is not defined by external circumstances, but by the strength of the mind to withstand them. Mental armor is the deliberate cultivation of emotional resilience, a shield that allows you to remain steady, focused, and effective no matter what challenges arise. Without it, even the clearest intentions or strongest routines can crumble under pressure. Start with self-awareness. Observe your thoughts and emotional reactions without judgment. When frustration, fear, or distraction arises, acknowledge it and detach. Recognize that these feelings are temporary and external events are often neutral. The meaning you assign creates either control or chaos. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. You cannot always control events, but you can control your response. Next, practice reframing. Challenges are not obstacles but opportunities for growth, clarity, and strength. When faced with setbacks, ask, what can I learn from this? How will this make me stronger? This mental shift transforms adversity into a tool for mastery rather than a source of despair. Daily reflection reinforces resilience. Journaling about emotional triggers, analyzing responses, and identifying lessons trains your mind to anticipate reactions and respond intentionally. Over time, you develop a mental buffer, an internal structure that prevents impulsive reactions and cultivates calm decisiveness. Visualization also strengthens armor. Picture difficult conversations, high-pressure situations, or unexpected crises, and rehearse composed, strategic responses. This mental preparation conditions the mind to act rather than react, giving you a psychological edge when real challenges arrive. Finally, anchor yourself in purpose. Resilience thrives when connected to a larger why. Whether it's personal growth, family, or mastery, grounding your actions in meaning provides motivation and steadiness even during turbulent times. The takeaway is clear. Emotional resilience is not innate. It is built intentionally daily through awareness, reflection, reframing, and purpose. By forging mental armor, you gain the ability to face any situation with composure, clarity, and strength. This is how the 1% maintain control, not just over their mornings, but over the trajectory of their lives. The 1% do not simply drift into night, they end each day with intention. Reflection is the practice of reviewing your thoughts, actions, and choices, transforming ordinary evenings into a tool for growth, insight, and preparation. Without it, lessons are lost, and momentum from the morning dissipates. Begin by reviewing the day's events. What challenges arose and how did you respond? Celebrate moments of discipline, patience. Notice where impulses or distractions led you astray. This is not criticism. It is objective observation, the foundation of improvement. Next, extract actionable insights. Ask yourself, what will I do differently tomorrow? Which habits need reinforcement? Which responses require refinement? By converting experiences into clear, actionable lessons, you create a bridge from today to tomorrow, ensuring each day builds upon the last rather than repeating mistakes. Journaling amplifies this practice. Writing thoughts down clarifies the mind, consolidates learning, and establishes accountability. The act of recording your reflections also links daily experiences to long-term goals, creating a sense of continuity and purpose. Visualization can also be used in the evening. Imagine tomorrow's challenges and opportunities, and mentally rehearse responses with composure and focus. This preemptive preparation strengthens your mind, primes confidence, and ensures you approach the next day with intentionality. Finally, set intentions for tomorrow. Identify key actions, prioritize meaningful tasks, and anchor yourself in purpose. By doing so, you close the day with clarity, serenity, and alignment, allowing sleep to be restorative rather than restless. The takeaway is clear. Reflection is a force multiplier. Ending the day intentionally transforms experiences into lessons, builds emotional resilience, and strengthens focus for tomorrow. the 1% close each day with purpose. And this ritual, simple, deliberate and consistent, creates a life of mastery, calm and unstoppable progress. Mastery is not achieved in moments of brilliance. It is forged in the quiet consistency of daily habits. The 1% understand that long-term success, emotional resilience, and mental strength are not products of luck or talent, but of deliberate, repeated actions rooted in Stoic principles. Habits become the architecture of character, the invisible framework that determines the trajectory of life. Begin with self-discipline. The Stoics believe that control over impulses is the foundation of freedom. Each day, practice restraint in thoughts, speech, and actions. Resist the urge to react impulsively, to indulge in distractions, or to prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term growth. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation, a habit that strengthens the mind and sharpens focus. Next, embrace reflection as routine. Morning and evening reflections, journaling, and mental rehearsals are not optional. They are non-negotiable tools of mastery. This repetition trains your mind to anticipate challenges, evaluate responses, and continuously improve. Reflection turns mistakes into lessons, setbacks into strategy, and ordinary experiences into fuel for growth. Stoic habit also requires intentional exposure to discomfort. Small daily challenges, cold showers, physical exertion, fasting, or confronting fears, condition the mind to remain steady under stress. By choosing discomfort voluntarily, you build resilience and teach yourself that external events cannot dictate internal calm. Gratitude and perspective are equally vital. Each day, acknowledge what is within your control and accept what is not. The mind trained in this duality becomes unshakable, free from frustration, envy, or resentment. Finally, link action to purpose. Every habit should reinforce your vision of the person you aspire to become. When physical discipline, mental clarity, reflection, and perspective are practiced in alignment with purpose, momentum compounds. Life transforms from reactive chaos into deliberate mastery. The takeaway is undeniable. Mastery is daily, intentional, and cumulative. Stoic habits are the blueprint. Through self-discipline, reflection, controlled discomfort, gratitude, and purpose-driven action, you cultivate a life of clarity, resilience, and unstoppable progress. The 1% are not extraordinary. They are consistent, deliberate, and relentless in practice. Small actions repeated consistently create results far beyond their apparent size. The 1% understand that mastery is not achieved through sporadic bursts of effort, but through the relentless accumulation of deliberate, focused action. This is the compound effect, the principle that tiny, disciplined habits, performed daily, grow exponentially over time. Consider the simple act of waking early, journaling, or exercising. Alone, one day's effort seems insignificant, yet when repeated for months and years, these micro-actions compound, shaping mindset, discipline, and results in ways that are both powerful and invisible. The key is not speed or intensity. It is unwavering regularity. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Each day you honor your commitments. No matter how small, you reinforce self-belief and discipline. Momentum grows silently, quietly, like a snowball rolling down a hill. Over time, effort becomes effortless and resistance diminishes because your identity aligns with your actions. The Stoics recognize the power of steady, intentional practice. Life is unpredictable, yet those who cultivate daily rituals and adhere to principles develop resilience that outlasts fortune or circumstance. Challenges no longer feel catastrophic. They are part of the continuum of growth you have intentionally built. Tracking progress amplifies the effect. Journaling wins, measuring habits, and reflecting on improvements reinforce behavior loops. Visual proof of growth motivates continued action and transforms ordinary repetition into extraordinary transformation. Finally, embrace patience. The compound effect does not provide instant gratification. Results are delayed, subtle, and cumulative. Yet the 1% persist because they understand that exponential growth comes to those who respect time, embrace consistency, and trust the process. The takeaway is clear. Momentum is the reward of daily, disciplined action. By showing up consistently, small efforts accumulate, creating unstoppable progress, unshakable confidence, and a life that unfolds according to deliberate mastery. The compound effect is not a secret. It is the natural result of steadfast commitment to the Stoic path of intentional, daily growth. Knowledge alone is powerless. Understanding Stoic principles is only the first step. True mastery comes from integration, embedding these practices so deeply that they become automatic, instinctual, and inseparable from daily life. The 1% do not merely think about discipline, resilience, or emotional control. They live it effortlessly because their habits and mindset are aligned. Start with repetition. Daily reflection, journaling, morning routines, and intentional exposure to discomfort must be non-negotiable. Repetition trains neural pathways, transforming conscious effort into automatic response. Over time, self-control, emotional regulation, and focus no longer require mental struggle. They occur naturally, like breathing. Next, embed Stoic principles in decision-making. Before reacting to challenges, ask, is this within my control? What is the virtuous response? With practice, these questions become instinctive, creating a mental filter that automatically separates external chaos from internal stability. Each choice reinforces resilience, composure, and clarity. Environmental design also accelerates integration. Structure your surroundings to support Stoic habits. Remove distractions, place reminders of purpose, and create spaces that encourage reflection, movement, and focus. External cues reinforce internal discipline, reducing reliance on willpower alone. Mentorship and accountability amplify the process. Surround yourself with individuals who embody principles you aspire to, or track progress with a trusted partner. Integration is reinforced when external systems align with internal goals, creating feedback loops that accelerate mastery. Finally, accept imperfection. Integration is gradual. Automatic practice does not appear overnight. The 1% embrace incremental improvement, allowing slip-ups to serve as lessons rather than failures. Every conscious effort strengthens the automatic response, and over time Stoic wisdom becomes second nature. The takeaway is undeniable. Integration transforms knowledge into instinct. By embedding habits, aligning decisions, designing your environment, seeking accountability, and embracing incremental growth, Stoic principles cease to be theoretical. They become your default mode of operation. Life is no longer a series of reactive events, but a canvas upon which intentional action and disciplined mastery are continuously painted. The 1% live this integration, and through it, they achieve control, clarity, and unstoppable progress in every area of life. Stoicism is not a philosophy to study casually. It is a way of being. The 1% do not merely act stoically, they embody it. Over time, deliberate practices transform into identity. Discipline, emotional resilience, reflection, and purposeful action become who you are, not just what you do. Begin by internalizing habits. Morning routines, journaling, and reflection are no longer tasks. They are markers of identity. Each time you act in alignment with Stoic principles, you reinforce the narrative, I am disciplined, I am resilient, I am intentional. Repetition embeds these truths deeply into your subconscious, shaping how you see yourself and the world. Next, cultivate a Stoic mindset in everyday challenges. Emotional control is not reserved for crises. It is exercised in small, consistent moments, waiting patiently in traffic, responding calmly to criticism, or choosing focus over distraction. Each action is a micro-decision that builds the framework of identity. Over time, these small moments accumulate, creating an unshakable character. Perspective anchors identity. The Stoics teach that external events are neutral. Only your interpretation gives them power. By consistently practicing this perspective, you train your mind to see setbacks as opportunities, discomfort as growth, and challenges as natural tests. This lens becomes automatic, guiding thoughts and behaviors without conscious effort. Accountability reinforces integration. Share your journey, journal honestly, and review progress regularly. The feedback loop between reflection and action ensures that Stoicism is not theoretical. It is practical, embodied, and evolving. Finally, embrace patience and persistence. Identity formation is gradual. The 1% recognize that setbacks, distractions, and moments of weakness are part of the process. Each day of aligned action strengthens identity, creating momentum that compounds over months and years. The takeaway is clear. Living Stoicism daily transforms practice into identity. When discipline, reflection, resilience, and purpose are ingrained, Stoicism ceases to be a philosophy. It becomes your natural state. Life is no longer a series of reactions. It is a conscious, purposeful expression of your highest self, shaped by habits, guided by principles, and sustained by identity. Through this embodiment, control, clarity, and mastery are no longer goals. They are the lived experience of who you are. The difference between the average and the exceptional is rarely talent or luck. It is consistency. The 1% achieve results not because they act occasionally with intensity, but because they act consistently, day in and day out, in ways that compound over time. Small, deliberate actions repeated without fail create momentum, mastery, and outcomes that seem impossible to those who act sporadically. Begin by understanding that consistency is not about grand gestures. It is about daily commitment. Waking early, journaling, reflecting, exercising, and practicing emotional control might seem insignificant alone, but together, repeated relentlessly, they build a life that others can only admire from afar. Each action reinforces identity, strengthens habits, and compounds results, creating a trajectory of growth that accelerates silently beneath the surface. Next, recognize the power of patience. The 1% do not seek immediate rewards. They understand that mastery and success are the results of time, effort, and deliberate practice. By focusing on consistent, purposeful action rather than instant gratification, they gradually achieve outcomes far greater than those who chase quick wins. Patience and persistence are allies that transform effort into exponential progress. Observation is critical. The 1% study patterns, identify opportunities for improvement, and correct deviations before they become habits. Feedback, whether from journaling, reflection, or mentors, is applied immediately, keeping momentum aligned with goals. This deliberate course correction ensures that consistency is productive, not stagnant. Finally, integrate Stoic principles to maintain consistency under pressure. Life will test resolve. Distractions, setbacks, and failures are inevitable. The disciplined mind, trained through daily practice, maintains focus, adapts without compromise, and continues forward. Emotional regulation, perspective, and deliberate action transform challenges into catalysts for growth. The takeaway is simple yet profound. Consistent action is the ultimate advantage. While most drift aimlessly, reacting to circumstance, the 1% act deliberately, daily, and relentlessly. Over time, their habits compound, their identity solidifies, and their results eclipse those of the inconsistent. Momentum, mastery, and success are not accidents. They are the rewards of disciplined consistency. Those who embrace it separate themselves from the rest, creating a life defined by control, purpose, and unstoppable progress. To embody the 1%, you must transform theory into daily practice. Knowledge of discipline, stoicism, and resilience is worthless unless it manifests consistently in your actions. Each day presents an opportunity to align behavior with principles, building unstoppable momentum that compounds over time. Start with morning rituals. Waking early, journaling, and setting intentions primes the mind, body, and heart for purposeful action. This intentional start is not a routine. It is a declaration of control, establishing a framework for the day where focus, clarity, and discipline guide decisions. Next, embrace micro-actions throughout the day. Respond to challenges calmly, prioritize meaningful work, and practice delayed gratification. Small choices, resisting impulses, taking the first step on a task, or maintaining composure, reinforce identity and compound into long-term results. Momentum is built in these subtle, consistent moments, invisible to the outside observer, but undeniable in impact. Reflection amplifies progress. Daily journaling or evening review allows you to evaluate actions, celebrate wins, and identify improvement areas. This creates a feedback loop that transforms experience into actionable insight. Each day, growth becomes measurable, intentional, and aligned with long-term goals. Environment matters. Design spaces that support focus, eliminate distractions, and reinforce habits. Place reminders of purpose. Practice accountability with mentors or peers, and create triggers for discipline. External cues strengthen internal consistency, making the adoption of Stoic practices more seamless and automatic. Finally, maintain patience and persistence. Embodying the 1% is a journey, not a single act. Setbacks, fatigue, or external pressures are inevitable, but consistent, aligned action ensures progress continues despite obstacles. Over time, these daily practices accumulate, creating unstoppable momentum that propels you toward mastery, resilience, and personal empowerment. The takeaway is clear: embodying the 1% requires deliberate, consistent, and integrated daily practices. Morning rituals, micro-actions, reflection, environmental design, and patient persistence combine to transform knowledge into identity. Momentum is not a result of chance. It is the natural outcome of disciplined action repeated every day. By committing to this process, you separate yourself from the average, build unshakable focus, and create a life of unstoppable progress and Stoic mastery. The first moments of the day are more powerful than most realize. Before emails, notifications, or obligations hijack your mind, you have a window to shape your thoughts, emotions, and focus. This is the morning secret that separates the 1% from everyone else: the ability to rewire the mind before the world imposes its chaos. Begin by establishing intentionality. As soon as you wake, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and set your mental tone. This is not merely meditation, it is a conscious act of programming your mind for discipline, resilience, and clarity. Your first thoughts of the day determine your responses, your focus, and your energy. By directing them deliberately, you claim control before external circumstances dictate it. Next, engage in deliberate mental exercises. Journaling, affirmations, and visualization are tools to strengthen your mental framework. Write down intentions, visualize challenges, and rehearse virtuous responses. By mentally rehearsing the day ahead, you create neural pathways that align action with principle. The mind begins to anticipate success, composure, and effective problem-solving automatically. Physical preparation amplifies this process. Movement, stretching, or brief exercise releases energy and primes the nervous system for alertness and resilience. A prepared body enhances a prepared mind. The synergy of physical and mental readiness is a cornerstone of the 1% mindset. Environmental control matters. Avoid immediate exposure to social media news or distractions. The morning is sacred, a space to program your focus rather than allow external input to fragment it. Design rituals that reinforce purpose, clarity, and intention. This is where mental rewiring occurs most efficiently. Finally, cultivate gratitude and perspective. Reflect on what you control, what you value, and how you will act intentionally. Anchoring the mind in virtue, purpose, and perspective transforms routine mornings into a powerful tool for self-mastery. By the time the world begins its demands, you are already centered, focused, and unshakable. The takeaway is simple: the morning is a lever that can lift your entire life. By intentionally setting mental tone, engaging in reflective exercises, preparing the body, controlling your environment, and practicing gratitude, you rewire your mind before the world attempts to control it. This daily habit of preemptive mastery separates the 1% from the rest, creating focus, clarity, and unstoppable momentum long before the first external challenge arises. The 1% understand that control is forged in the quiet, deliberate actions of the morning. Success, clarity, and resilience are not accidents. They are cultivated through small, intentional habits repeated daily. What you do before the world stirs sets the trajectory for every choice, every response, and every opportunity that follows. Begin with structured silence. Meditation, breathing exercises, or simply sitting in stillness allows the mind to settle and focus. This practice sharpens awareness, calms emotional turbulence, and creates a foundation for deliberate thought. The 1% do not react impulsively, they respond intentionally because they start the day anchored in control. Next, engage in reflection and journaling. Writing down intentions, priorities, and key actions connects the mind to purpose. Journaling is not a task, it is a ritual that externalizes clarity, identifies potential obstacles, and aligns daily action with long-term goals. Each line on the page reinforces discipline and cements habits into identity. Physical preparation follows. Movement, stretching, or brief exercise wakes the body, primes energy, and reinforces the connection between mind and body. The 1% know that mental clarity cannot exist in a fatigued or stagnant body. Action and vitality are inseparable in morning mastery. Visualization and affirmation amplify focus. Mentally rehearse challenges, victories, and virtuous actions. Affirm intentions with conviction. These rituals prime the subconscious, creating automatic responses aligned with discipline, resilience, and purposeful behavior. Over time, the mind begins to anticipate composure, decisiveness, and effective action naturally. Finally, minimize distractions. Avoid screens, social media, or external inputs until after your rituals. Guarding these morning moments ensures your mental energy is invested in preparation rather than reaction. Control is not passive, it is deliberate, protective, and consistent. The takeaway is clear: morning habits are the blueprint for mastery. Structured silence, reflection, journaling, physical preparation, visualization, and environmental control combine to create a powerful foundation for the day. These rituals are the tools through which the 1% program focus, resilience, and self-mastery. By committing to these practices daily, you reclaim control, set a purposeful tone, and transform ordinary mornings into the launchpad for unstoppable momentum and lasting achievement. Evenings are more than a pause from the day's demands. They are the final act in the cycle of growth. The 1% understand that true mastery is not forged solely in action, but in reflection. The moments before sleep offer a unique opportunity to consolidate lessons, strengthen habits, and recalibrate for tomorrow. Evening reflection closes the loop, transforming ordinary days into deliberate progress. Begin by reviewing the day with honesty. What actions aligned with your principles? Where did distractions, impulses, or emotional reactions undermine your purpose? This is not self-criticism. it is objective observation. By acknowledging both successes and missteps, you convert experiences into insights, creating clarity that fuels improvement rather than regret. Next, extract actionable lessons. Ask, what can I adjust tomorrow? Which habits need reinforcement? Which virtues demand more attention? This process transforms reflection into strategy. Growth becomes intentional, measurable, and within your control. Each evening becomes a rehearsal for improvement, ensuring that tomorrow starts with informed purpose rather than reactive patterns. Journaling amplifies this effect. Writing down observations and intentions clarifies thought, reinforces accountability, and connects daily actions to overarching goals. The 1% use this practice to bridge moments into momentum, ensuring continuity between day and day, action and intention. It is in these written words that insight becomes commitment and reflection becomes transformation. Finally, set tomorrow's intentions. Identify key tasks, visualize challenges, and prioritize meaningful actions. Anchoring the mind in purpose before sleep primes it for composure, focus and efficiency upon waking. The world may present chaos, but preparation creates resilience, turning each day into a building block for mastery. The takeaway is simple yet powerful. Evening reflection is a cornerstone of lasting growth. Honest review, actionable insight, journaling, and intentional planning transform nights into preparation, mistakes into lessons, and daily life into deliberate progress. By consistently closing the loop each evening, you create a rhythm of continuous improvement, aligning mind, body, and heart with purpose. The 1% do not leave growth to chance. They engineer it through reflection, ensuring that every day contributes to mastery, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. True mastery is not achieved in isolated moments. It is cultivated through consistent integration of intentional practices. The 1% do not rely on sporadic bursts of effort. They engineer their days from start to finish, uniting morning focus with evening reflection to create total control over mind, body, and heart. Begin by recognizing the synergy between morning and evening rituals. Mornings set the tone, focus, energy, and clarity. Evenings consolidate the day's lessons, transform experience into insight, and prepare the mind for tomorrow. Together, these bookends form a feedback loop that reinforces discipline, resilience, and self-mastery. One without the other diminishes the impact. Both create unstoppable momentum. Morning habits, structured silence, journaling, visualization, and physical preparation prime the mind for deliberate action. They establish identity, sharpen attention, and generate mental energy before external demands intrude. Evening habits, reflection, journaling, extracting lessons, and setting intentions cement learning, correct deviations, and realign priorities. By consistently linking these practices, the 1% create continuity, turning knowledge and intention into habit and identity. Consistency is key. Integration is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Days will not always go as planned, but maintaining the rhythm of morning and evening rituals ensures progress accumulates. Small deliberate actions compound over time, producing clarity, composure, and control that is impervious to circumstance. Momentum grows quietly, invisibly, yet its effects are undeniable. Finally, internalize the mindset. Begin to view each day as a structured opportunity for growth, rather than a series of random events. Control becomes a habit, discipline an identity, and reflection a tool for continuous improvement. The 1% do not leave success to chance. They engineer it with rituals that align behavior with principles and action with purpose. The takeaway is clear. Integrating morning and evening rituals transforms ordinary routines into a framework for total control. By committing to this cycle, you link focus, insight, and intentional action across every day, cultivating resilience, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. The 1% mindset is not a secret. It is the deliberate practice of designing your life through disciplined, consistent, and integrated habits, ensuring mastery over yourself and the world around you. Living like the 1% is not about luck, talent, or external circumstances. It is about intentionality. Every decision, every habit, and every moment of reflection compounds into the person you become. The key is consistency, committing daily to practices that strengthen mind, body, and heart, and refusing to surrender your focus to the chaos of the world. Start with clarity of purpose. Identify what matters most and let it guide every action. The 1% wake with intention because they know that scattered effort produces scattered results. By defining priorities, you create a compass that points every day toward growth, mastery, and resilience. Even small actions aligned with this purpose compound over weeks, months, and years, producing results that seem disproportionate to the effort but are entirely predictable when measured over time. Discipline anchors this process. Habits are the engine of self-mastery, and consistency is the fuel. Morning rituals prime your mind, energize your body, and focus your thoughts. Evening reflection transforms experience into insight, ensuring that mistakes are lessons, not regrets. When repeated daily, these rituals shift from conscious effort to automatic, ingrained patterns that shape identity itself. Control is no longer optional. It becomes a natural extension of who you are. Embrace challenge as opportunity. The 1% do not avoid discomfort. They welcome it as the crucible of growth. Each obstacle is a mirror, revealing weakness to address and strength to cultivate. By reframing adversity as practice for composure, focus and resilience, you transform struggle into a tool for advancement. Life ceases to be unpredictable because your response becomes disciplined, deliberate, and unshakable. Finally, cultivate awareness and gratitude. Recognize the progress you make, however small, and acknowledge the lessons embedded in difficulty. Reflection, paired with appreciation, ensures that growth is not just mechanical but deeply human. It ties each day to long-term purpose, creating continuity, perspective, and inner calm. The ultimate lesson is simple: mastery is engineered, not stumbled upon. By integrating morning focus, evening reflection, disciplined habits, and purposeful action, you construct a life that consistently favors growth, composure, and achievement. The 1% mindset is not about perfection. It is about relentless, intentional design of your mind, body, and heart. Live each day intentionally. Guard your mornings. Reflect in your evenings. Embrace challenge. Commit to small, deliberate actions that compound over time. This is how ordinary moments transform into extraordinary mastery. This is how control, resilience, and unstoppable momentum are cultivated. By living with purpose every day, you ensure that success, clarity, and personal mastery are not accidental. They are inevitable. Knowledge alone does not create mastery. Without action, insight remains potential, and wisdom remains inert. The 1% know this. They transform understanding into deliberate, daily action, building unstoppable momentum that compounds over time. The question is simple: what will you do today to become the person you aspire to be tomorrow? Start with a structured morning. Begin with silence or meditation to anchor your mind. Follow with journaling. Clarify intentions, outline priorities, and visualize challenges. Move your body to energize your system and prime focus. Each of these steps prepares you not just for the day's tasks, but for disciplined, purposeful action. The 1% use this time to align their mind, body, and heart before the world demands their attention. Next, implement a focused work cycle. Identify your most meaningful tasks, those aligned with your long-term goals, and tackle them first. Avoid distraction. Break larger goals into actionable steps and approach each with complete presence. Momentum is built when action is deliberate, consistent, and measurable. Each small victory fuels the next, producing a chain reaction of progress that feels inevitable. Evening reflection completes the cycle. Review the day honestly. What went well? Where did you falter? What adjustments will ensure tomorrow is stronger? Journaling this insight transforms experience into practical strategy. By ending the day with clarity and intention, you reinforce habits, deepen understanding, and prepare for tomorrow with control and calm. Finally, integrate these practices into a repeatable, consistent rhythm. Morning preparation, focused work, and evening reflection are not optional. They are the scaffolding of mastery. Momentum grows silently but powerfully, compounding with every repetition. Over time, this creates a life where discipline, resilience, and clarity are not occasional achievements. They are the default state. The takeaway is clear: knowledge without action is wasted potential. Daily rituals, deliberate effort, and reflective practice convert insight into unstoppable momentum. By committing to this cycle, you transform ordinary days into deliberate engines of progress, ensuring that growth, mastery, and success are not random. They are inevitable. Start today, build deliberately, repeat consistently, and watch as momentum, once small and fragile, becomes unstoppable. The 1% mindset is powerful, but it is not magic. Its effectiveness is rooted in ancient wisdom, the Stoic principles that have guided exceptional individuals for centuries. Stoicism teaches that mastery over life begins with mastery over yourself, your mind, your emotions, and your actions. This is why integrating morning focus, evening reflection, and disciplined daily habits guarantees results. At the core of Stoicism is the understanding that external events are beyond your control, but your response is entirely within it. By committing to structured daily rituals, you remove randomness from your growth. Mornings shape your intentions, focusing your energy and attention before distraction intrudes. Evenings reinforce learning, transforming successes and failures into actionable insights. This creates a continuous feedback loop where each day builds upon the last. Over time, small deliberate actions compound, producing results that feel inevitable. Stoicism also emphasizes the cultivation of virtue, courage, wisdom, self-discipline, and patience. Each of these virtues is exercised daily when you follow your routines with purpose, when you resist impulsive reactions, commit to challenging tasks, and reflect honestly on your actions. You strengthen character as effectively as any skill or knowledge. This internal alignment ensures that progress is not superficial or fleeting, it is enduring. The Stoic advantage extends beyond productivity. It shapes your perception of adversity. Challenges are no longer obstacles, but opportunities for growth, testing your resilience and teaching composure. By reframing difficulty as practice for mastery, you turn every experience, pleasant or painful, into a tool for development. This mindset eliminates wasted effort and accelerates progress, because every action aligns with principle and purpose. Finally, Stoic practices foster clarity and calm, allowing decisions to be deliberate rather than reactive. When your mornings, evenings, and daily actions are intentionally structured, you develop a rhythm that supports mental focus, emotional control, and physical readiness. The result is a life where growth, mastery, and success are not left to chance, they are engineered. The takeaway is profound. These practices guarantee results because they are rooted in universal truths about human behavior, control, and growth. By adopting the Stoic approach, you harness the same principles that have guided history's most resilient, focused, and disciplined individuals. Structure your day, reflect on your actions, embrace challenge, and cultivate virtue, and you align yourself with the timeless path to mastery, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. Philosophy without action is merely theory. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Wisdom must be lived, not just learned. To embody the 1%, you must take the principles discussed: the morning focus, evening reflection, deliberate habits, and disciplined action, and make them inseparable from daily life. Only then does philosophy become power. Begin by internalizing intention. Each morning, remind yourself, I control my mind, my actions, and my focus. External events do not define me, my response does. This is not a mantra to recite passively. It is a declaration that sets the tone for the entire day. When intention is clear, every decision, every task, and every challenge is approached through the lens of purpose and discipline. Next, translate insight into action. Journaling, visualization, and reflection are tools, not ends. Apply the lessons learned each evening to the tasks you face tomorrow. Structure your day around priorities that align with growth, mastery, and resilience. Avoid distraction and reactive behavior. The 1% are relentless not because they are naturally gifted, but because they convert reflection into tangible, consistent effort. Embrace discomfort deliberately. Growth occurs in the tension between ease and challenge. The Stoic path encourages you to face fear, endure difficulty, and embrace adversity as a teacher. Each struggle, when approached with composure and intentionality, strengthens character and reinforces momentum. Do not shy away from what is hard. Instead, see it as the exact exercise your mind, body, and heart require to evolve. Consistency creates identity. Repetition turns deliberate effort into ingrained habits. When you follow morning and evening rituals, act with purpose, and embrace challenge daily, mastery becomes part of who you are. You no longer pursue excellence as an external goal. It emerges naturally from your disciplined way of living. Momentum becomes unstoppable because your life is engineered around principle and practice. Finally, cultivate reflection with humility. Each day presents new lessons, and even the 1% are students of life. Honest review ensures progress is deliberate and continuous. By combining action with insight and discipline with reflection, philosophy transforms from abstract concept into lived reality. You begin to embody clarity, focus, resilience, and composure. Life becomes less reactive and more intentional. The takeaway is simple yet profound. The 1% are not exceptional because of luck. They are exceptional because they live philosophy in every moment. Integrate knowledge with action, reflection with discipline, and challenge with purpose. By doing so, you turn wisdom into results, habits into identity, and insight into unstoppable momentum. The Stoic path is not theoretical. It is lived every day in every choice, until mastery becomes inseparable from your being. Life, when approached without structure, feels slip by, lessons are forgotten, and growth stagnates. The 1% operate differently. They design a life engine, a system of daily practices that compounds over time, producing exponential growth in mind, body, and spirit. Mastery is not achieved in a single action. It is the accumulation of deliberate, consistent effort. The first component of this engine is morning intentionality. Begin each day by centering your mind. Meditation, journaling, and visualization prime your focus and align your actions with purpose. This is not simply about checking boxes. It is about programming your mind for clarity, discipline, and composure. By investing just 30 to 45 minutes in mindful preparation, you gain a mental edge that carries throughout the day. Small, consistent mornings produce extraordinary outcomes. Next, commit to focused action. Prioritize the tasks that advance your long-term goals. Resist distraction, resist impulsive reactions, and attack challenges with full presence. By segmenting your day into deliberate blocks of attention and action, you create momentum. Each completed task compounds upon the previous one, producing measurable progress that reinforces confidence, discipline, and identity. The life engine thrives on this repetition. Reflection is equally critical. Evening review transforms experience into insight. Assess victories and mistakes honestly, without judgment. What worked, what faltered, which actions aligned with your principles, and which revealed areas for growth. Journaling these insights converts knowledge into strategy, ensuring that tomorrow is stronger than today. Reflection closes the loop of your life engine, making each day a building block toward mastery. Embrace adversity deliberately. Life's obstacles are not setbacks, they are fuel. Every challenge faced with composure strengthens resilience and sharpens judgment. When you intentionally insert discomfort into your life, whether through difficult tasks, disciplined exercise, or confronting fears, you condition your mind and body to perform under pressure. Each encounter compounds skill, courage, and self-mastery. Finally, consistency transforms these practices into identity. The life engine does not require perfection, it requires repetition, integrity, and persistence. Daily alignment with purpose, disciplined action, reflection, and deliberate challenge builds momentum that becomes unstoppable. Over time, mastery is no longer an abstract goal. It is the natural state of your existence. The takeaway is clear: mastery is engineered, not stumbled upon. The 1% succeed because they create a self-sustaining life engine, where deliberate actions, reflection, and challenge compound into extraordinary growth. Your mind sharpens, your focus strengthens, and your resilience becomes automatic. Start small, remain consistent, and watch as your life engine transforms ordinary days into unstoppable progress, guiding you toward mastery in every aspect of being. Momentum is the invisible force that separates the 1% from the rest. It is not achieved through sporadic effort or grand gestures, but through consistent, small daily actions. Each choice, no matter how minor, adds weight to your trajectory. Over time, these incremental steps compound, shaping your life in ways that feel almost inevitable. Consider the power of repetition. A single act, journaling, focused work, disciplined exercise, may seem insignificant, but when repeated daily, it becomes a lever that shifts your mindset, habits, and outcomes. Momentum grows silently, often unnoticed, until one day, you realize that you are operating on a level far beyond where you began. The 1% understand this and honor the quiet accumulation of effort. Daily rituals are the building blocks of this momentum. Morning focus sharpens your mind, priming it for deliberate action. Reflection in the evening reinforces learning, consolidates insights, and ensures growth is intentional. By repeating these practices consistently, you construct an unshakable rhythm. This rhythm becomes your backbone, allowing you to navigate challenges with calm and efficiency while compounding skills, discipline, and resilience. Action without reflection is directionless. Reflection without action is wasted energy. Momentum requires both. Each day, by acting intentionally and reviewing honestly, you create a feedback loop. Lessons become strategies, effort becomes results, and small victories accumulate into extraordinary progress. The compounding effect of daily commitment transforms ordinary lives into disciplined, purpose-driven journeys. Finally, understand that momentum is a choice. It is generated by conscious decisions, sustained by discipline, and reinforced by reflection. By embracing daily practices, however small, you guide the trajectory of your life rather than reacting to it. Each day, each action, each reflection builds upon the last, creating unstoppable energy that propels you toward mastery, clarity, and ultimate control. The takeaway is clear: destiny is not shaped by luck or sudden breakthroughs. It is forged through small, deliberate actions repeated consistently. Momentum is the silent force behind extraordinary lives. By embracing it, you ensure that progress, resilience, and success are no longer accidental, they are inevitable. Start Start today, act with intention, reflect honestly, and let momentum become your most powerful ally. The Stoic edge is subtle but transformative. It is not merely knowledge, it is the application of wisdom in every decision, every moment, and every interaction. While many pursue success externally, the 1% understand that true mastery comes from integrating insight, discipline, and reflection into the fabric of daily life. This is the final edge, the ability to consistently align action with principle. Every decision, no matter how small, carries weight. The Stoics teach that your reactions, choices, and habits shape your destiny far more than circumstances beyond your control. By applying their wisdom, you cultivate clarity, composure, and foresight. When faced with challenges, you pause before reacting, asking, does this align with my values? Will this move me toward mastery? This pause, rooted in reflection, creates space for deliberate, intentional action, and over time transforms decision-making from reaction to strategy. Begin by integrating morning focus into decision-making. A clear mind and intentional start allow you to prioritize actions aligned with purpose, rather than responding to distraction or impulse. Each morning practice sets a precedent for choices throughout the day. Similarly, evening reflection ensures that every lesson, every misstep, and every success informs tomorrow's decisions. This cycle transforms experience into actionable wisdom. The Stoic edge also requires emotional mastery. Decisions made in anger, fear, or impatience often produce chaos. By training your mind to remain composed, you access a higher plane of judgment. Emotions become signals rather than tyrants, guiding insight instead of dictating action. Through reflection, visualization, and intentional habits, emotional resilience becomes automatic, allowing you to act decisively without internal conflict. Lastly, understand that the edge compounds over time. Each aligned decision strengthens habits, reinforces principles, and builds momentum. Life becomes increasingly predictable, manageable, and productive, not because the external world has changed, but because you have transformed your inner world. Mastery emerges naturally when philosophy is lived, decisions are intentional, and daily practices reinforce the path of growth. The takeaway is powerful. The final Stoic edge is the synthesis of awareness, discipline, and reflection. It turns philosophy into action, lessons into strategy, and knowledge into power. By embedding Stoic principles into every choice, you operate from a place of clarity and inevitability. Success is no longer chance. It is engineered, cultivated, and lived. The edge is yours to claim, but only if wisdom is integrated every day into every decision, until mastery becomes inseparable from your being. To live like the 1%, you must adopt a mindset that transcends circumstance, distraction, and doubt. The 1% are not defined by luck, talent, or opportunity. They are defined by consistency, discipline, and the ability to turn philosophy into action. Becoming unstoppable begins with internal mastery, where control of thought, emotion, and action shapes destiny rather than external chaos. Start by cultivating relentless focus every morning. Set your intentions with clarity and precision. Identify the tasks, habits, and decisions that align with your growth, and commit to them fully. Avoid unnecessary distractions and trivial pursuits. Each focused action compounds, building momentum that becomes difficult to stop. This is the core of the 1% mindset. Small, deliberate efforts repeated consistently create unstoppable force. Next, embrace resilience as a daily practice. Challenges will come. Failure, criticism, or unforeseen obstacles are inevitable. The 1% respond not with panic or avoidance, but with composure and strategy. They view adversity as a teacher, a necessary catalyst for growth. By reframing difficulties as opportunities to reinforce discipline, wisdom, and courage, setbacks become fuel rather than hindrance. Resilience transforms challenge into advantage. Reflection and intentional adjustment further strengthen this mindset. At the end of each day, review your choices. Where did you align with your principles, and where did you stray? Honest evaluation ensures progress is intentional, not accidental. Lessons become strategy, mistakes become insights, and each day compounds growth. Momentum is reinforced not by luck, but by deliberate, consistent improvement. Finally, internalize the concept of inevitability. The 1% act with purpose, understanding that mastery is not a chance event, but the result of deliberate design. By integrating morning rituals, focused work, resilience practices, and reflection, you engineer life to unfold predictably toward growth, clarity, and success. Over time, discipline becomes identity, and action flows effortlessly from principle. The takeaway is profound. Becoming unstoppable is not about external power, it is about internal alignment. Control your mind, master your habits, and act with purpose. With the 1% mindset, obstacles become fuel, decisions become precise, and momentum becomes relentless. When philosophy guides action, consistency compounds, and resilience strengthens daily. You step into a life where progress, mastery, and success are inevitable. The unstoppable life is not an accident. It is designed, lived, and earned. Mastery does not occur by accident. It is designed, carefully constructed, and continuously refined. The Stoics provide a blueprint, a framework for building a life of clarity, discipline, and resilience. To live deliberately, one must first understand that mastery is not about external achievement alone. It is the alignment of mind, body, and spirit with principle. This alignment transforms ordinary existence into purposeful action. The foundation of the Stoic blueprint is self-awareness. Begin by observing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. Identify patterns that empower growth and those that hinder progress. Honest reflection uncovers the root causes of reactive behavior, fear, and distraction. By understanding yourself fully, you gain control over impulses and make decisions rooted in reason rather than habit. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of mastery. It is the lens through which all other practices gain clarity and effectiveness. Next, cultivate intentional routines. The 1% understand that structure amplifies results. Morning rituals, focused work sessions, and evening reflection are not arbitrary. They are deliberate mechanisms for aligning daily actions with long-term goals. Each routine reinforces discipline, sharpens the mind, and compounds momentum. When practices are consistent, life transitions from reactive chaos to proactive design. These routines are the scaffolding of the blueprint, supporting sustainable growth and resilience. The third pillar is values-driven action. Mastery is meaningless without purpose. Identify your core principles, courage, integrity, wisdom, and perseverance, and let them guide every choice. Align your efforts with these principles, ensuring that even small actions reinforce your higher purpose. By integrating values into daily practice, decisions become simpler, focus strengthens, and character deepens. Over time, these choices compound, forming a life of coherence, influence, and impact. Finally, embrace deliberate challenge. Comfort is the enemy of growth. The Stoic blueprint requires intentionally facing discomfort through difficult tasks, confronting fear, or pursuing excellence despite obstacles. Each challenge strengthens resilience, sharpens judgment, and solidifies identity. Growth becomes inevitable when discomfort is embraced as a tool rather than avoided as a threat. The takeaway is clear: mastery is engineered through self-awareness, intentional routines, values-driven action, and deliberate challenge. The Stoic blueprint transforms ordinary living into a life of purpose, momentum, and inevitability. By following these principles, you design not just days, but a destiny aligned with your highest potential. Life ceases to feel like chance, and every choice compounds toward mastery, resilience, and unwavering clarity. Knowledge alone does not change a life, action does. Philosophy becomes powerful only when translated into daily practice. The Stoics understood that consistency, not occasional inspiration, drives mastery. The daily engine is the mechanism by which wisdom becomes habit, habit becomes momentum, and momentum becomes inevitable growth. Begin by structuring each day intentionally. The morning sets the tone. Rise with clarity, focus, and purpose. Identify your top priorities and commit to them fully. Small, deliberate actions taken consistently build a compounding effect that amplifies results. These micro decisions, whether choosing discipline over distraction, courage over comfort, or reflection over reaction, become the fuel that powers the engine. Midday is the test of consistency. Challenges arise, distractions appear, and impulses seek control. The daily engine keeps you anchored by returning to principle, focusing on deliberate effort, and aligning actions with long-term purpose. You convert obstacles into opportunity. Each conscious choice strengthens resilience, sharpens judgment, and reinforces the structure of momentum. This is where philosophy moves off the page and becomes lived reality. Evening reflection completes the cycle. Assess what was accomplished, identify deviations from principle, and extract lessons. Journaling reinforces accountability and connects daily effort to larger goals. Reflection ensures that the engine does not run blindly. It adjusts, refines, and improves with each rotation. Momentum becomes guided rather than accidental, embedding clarity, discipline, and intention into every action. The power of the daily engine lies in its compounding nature. One small decision repeated consistently multiplies over time, transforming habits, mindset, and ultimately life outcomes. Philosophical insight, when acted upon daily, creates unstoppable forward motion. The 1% leverage this principle. They engineer each day to reinforce their goals, values, and mastery. The takeaway is simple but profound: to live with purpose and achieve mastery, philosophy must be transformed into consistent action. The daily engine converts intention into reality, ideas into habits, and potential into achievement. Through disciplined mornings, focused days, and reflective evenings, your life aligns with principle, momentum builds naturally, and growth becomes inevitable. By running your daily engine, you ensure that philosophy is not theoretical, it is lived, repeated, and unstoppable. Everything you've learned, every habit, every reflection, every disciplined action, leads to one ultimate truth: mastery is built, not inherited. The 1% do not wait for life to hand them clarity, opportunity, or success. They create it moment by moment, choice by choice. Life becomes a reflection of your inner discipline, your resilience, and your intentional alignment with principle. As you move forward, remember this: external circumstances are fleeting, but your character, your mindset, and your daily habits are permanent. The Stoics teach that your legacy is formed not by the applause of others, but by the decisions you make in silence, the integrity you uphold when no one is watching, and the resilience you summon in the face of challenge. This is the life that cannot be shaken, the momentum that cannot be stopped. Look at each day as an opportunity to reinforce your mastery. Begin with intentional mornings that set your focus, power through the day with purpose-driven actions, and conclude with reflective evenings that transform experiences into wisdom. Every choice compounds, every habit strengthens, and every moment lived with clarity moves you closer to becoming unstoppable. You are not defined by past failures, external chaos, or the limits others place upon you. You are defined by how you respond, how you grow, and how consistently you act in alignment with your highest principles. The 1% mindset is not a secret, it is a deliberate, daily practice that turns philosophy into lived reality. Finally, imagine your life as a legacy in motion. Every decision you make today echoes into tomorrow, creating momentum that shapes not only your path, but the influence you leave behind. A life built on Stoic wisdom, discipline, and reflection is a life that outlasts fleeting trends, external validation, and temporary comfort. It is a life designed, cultivated, and mastered. The takeaway is simple: mastery, clarity, and unstoppable growth are within your reach, but only if you commit fully, act deliberately, and integrate wisdom into every moment. Live intentionally, choose consistently, and build each day as a stepping stone toward a life that reflects the 1% mindset. When philosophy becomes habit, discipline becomes identity, and action becomes legacy, you step into a life that is unstoppable, inevitable, and profoundly aligned with your highest potential.